everybody. Welcome. And thank you for listening to this episode of Marriage Therapy Radio. My name is Zach Brittle. This is a cool one because I got an email from a listener. As you know, I've been asking if you, dear listeners, would like to come on the podcast and share your story. This one listener wrote and said, I'm not interested in coming on, but my kids might be. How about you talk to them? And so I was like, you bet. So Sarah Rhoades and Grady have come on the podcast. They are young. Sarah Rhoades just graduated from high school. Grady is going to be a senior. They've been dating for about 7 months. And I really just wanted to know, like, what is that like? You know, I have so many couples tell me they sort of wish they could go back to the beginning. And so I thought, maybe it'll be cool to talk to people at the beginning. And these guys have some wisdom that is really intriguing to hear about. And I'm rooting for them. I have no idea if they'll stay together forever or if they will. I don't know. But like I said, I'm rooting for them. And I think you'll enjoy hearing from them. I want to remind you that Marriage Therapy Radio is sponsored by the app called Paired, which is a great way to connect to your partner on a daily basis around different kinds of games and questions. If that's of interest to you, go to paired.com/MTR and download that app. It's important to use that code MTR so that they know that you heard about us here. As always, you can become a member on Patreon. That's marriagetherapyradio.com. Click on the Patreon button or patreon.com/Marriage Therapy Radio. Those of you who are paid members really do help us keep the lights on, and I'm excited about that. And if you are a free member, thanks for paying attention. And I hope that the peek behind the scenes is valuable to you. And also, please consider becoming a paid member. It's the best way to support us as we continue to try to bring content to you. For now, though, I'll let you hear from Sarah Rhoades and from Grady. This is a very cool conversation. Stick around. Okay, Sarah Rhoades, Grady, thank you for coming to Marriage Therapy Radio. So this is weird how this came about. Your mom listens to the podcast, and she wrote me and said, I don't want to come on the podcast with my husband, but you know who would like to come on the podcast is my daughter and her boyfriend. And I was like, that sounds interesting. And so that's you. You're the daughter and you're the boyfriend. Tell who are you guys? Like, where do you live? What's your story? How did you end up being on Marriage Therapy Radio? I'm interested to know.
So we're in Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Okay.
And, we've been dating for 7.5 months.
So not very long in the grand scheme of things.
Okay.
Yeah, we kind of nervously went on your Instagram and we're like, okay, like what is this kind of going on? And like these all like it was like we've been married for like X amount of years. We were like, oh no, like we're gonna be. I have no idea what we're talking about.
We're nobody. However, you have been together for proportionally. You've been together. I guess this doesn't quite make sense. I was thinking about how math works. Like as young people, 7 months is a long time. Like 7 months for me is less than 7 months for you, I guess is the way I'm putting it.
Yeah.
So it's not a super short time relative to your life. And how did you meet? I have so many questions, but how did you come together 7 months ago?
So Grady runs this open mic music venue out of his backyard. And it's kind of just for kids around town to come and enjoy watching each other make some music.
Okay.
And I play the banjo and thought it'd be fun if I signed up to perform. So I did. And I needed a microphone for my banjo while I was on stage, but there weren't enough mic stands. And so Grady had to sit there on stage and manually hold the microphone up to my banjo the entire time I was performing. And that kind of prompted our first conversation. So that's how we met.
Yeah, I'd never really met her. And then I was like sitting there, like, I was like, whoa, she's really good at banjo. And I was like, whoa, she's really pretty. And then we started talking, and that's kind of the beginning of it.
That's adorable. All right. So you play the banjo and sing, or you just like playing the banjo?
I just play the banjo.
She sings beautifully in the car.
But I don't sing live.
And you're in it. You're like crazy about each other or something. Is that real?
Yeah, something like that.
I would say
what can you tell me about that? I'll tell you why I'm asking, because in my practice, couples come in all the time. A lot of older couples, like older, whatever. But the thing I hear a lot is like, we feel like roommates. We feel like in the beginning it was so exciting and it was so this, that, and the other thing. But now all that is faded. And I was like, oh, it'd be interesting to talk to people who are at the beginning. And well, how do you understand it? How do you make sense of it? I'll have some questions that you might not have an answer to about how to protect against this thing that other people are experiencing, the fading of that. But like, how do you describe it, or what do you even understand about this phase of being in a relationship?
I feel like for me, it was pretty instantaneously like apparent that like kind of the way I felt about her was like just very different from like, I don't know, like I guess high school relationships, it's hard to be like past exes and stuff, but like, we both kind of dated someone before for like a year, not the same person, but
okay. Thank you for the clarification.
From that perspective of like having just like kind of really crappy, like early, for different reasons, but like, and so, yeah, so we talked a lot about like early on and like still now, like it's just kind of like, it was almost obviously instantly apparent that like this was a much different thing than like that, or like it wasn't forced or anything, or yeah, I don't know. So I think that was like the logical thing to me. I was like, okay, this is like not the same as anything I've done.
And now there's a lot of things I like about, well, it's fun just because at first it was really new and we didn't have any of the same friends. And so we like introduced each other to each other's friends. And I feel like we did a really good job at like integrating each other into our separate friend groups, which I really loved because I never felt like I feel like Grady just always did a great job of like including me in any social scene, or if he wanted me to meet all of his closest friends and he wanted me to like be a part of, he wanted me to be close with his best friends. And so that was all. And I feel like now that we have that established and we know each other's friends and we're like, now it's just, we're just having a good time.
Okay. So you are Sarah Rhoades, you just graduated from high school. Grady, you're a senior.
Mm-hmm.
You dated people before. You've had other longer term relationships. And then this one is different or unique. And I wonder, do you know why? Do you have ideas about, or do you have theories about what makes this one unique or different?
It really is just like I don't know. Like, I feel like we started talking and then it was just.
Is it magic? Is it like luck? Is it alchemy? I mean, what?
Probably more like our personalities mesh really well.
Yeah.
And so as soon as we started like getting to know each other, we were like, oh, like we fit really well together. And I don't know, maybe it's just luck that we found that.
Yeah.
But
it definitely seems like luck to me that like, I don't know, because we go to the same school, but in like different grades and different friend groups, and like it seemed like chance that we like met because we were both like aware of each other before.
Mm-hmm.
And the way I've always thought about it, if like what makes it unique has been like, especially early on, I always thought that like where like my relationship in the past was a thing where like we bonded on all the kind of like superficial like interests or whatever, like all of the kind of like borderline stuff and like all of the motivations it took to get to those places, or like the morals and like the opinions on whatever. That's not to say we don't disagree on things, but like that wasn't really the same. Whereas with Sarah, it's like we're kind of interested in different things, and there's definitely overlap, but like interested in different things. But I think like the foundation of all that, and like we just like generally on like a deeper level agree.
Yeah, I think our foundation is the same, whereas in past relationships, it's been all the superficial things that have been the same. Like, oh, we like the same TV show. I guess we have the same tree trunk, but our branches go out different ways. So we're interested in different things and we branch out in different directions, but we're able to like have the same kind of foundation. That's kind of a strange metaphor. I don't know.
No, I like it. I'm into it. I'll think about it a lot, actually. Because, you're talking about something that I wonder about, particularly for folks that are maybe dating or whatever in their 20s and 30s, and they're trying to find their partner. And there's this vetting criteria that you have to go through, which is about, do we have enough in common? And you're talking about, yes, we have a lot in common, but it's more at the foundational trunky level than at the the leafy level, for lack of a better words. Like, it's okay not to watch the same TV shows or be into the same music or play the same sports or even like sports or not, as long as you have this other thing called what? Roots or foundation. Do you have words for that? Do you know what it is? The foundation.
Important.
Is it just character?
I think it's also the fact that like it's not like we are like aggressively like kind of like closed-minded to like this is whatever the leaves that I like. We're really good at this. But like that we've been able to now like bring those to each other, and like some stuff where like that's awesome, and I had no idea that was a thing.
There's an openness to learning. The one problem with playing with metaphors, you can beat them to death and you can like really make them terrible. But there's like an openness to learning about each other's leaves, or there's an openness to like discovering new things through one another versus somehow you pre-check all the boxes and then that's how the relationship works.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you have, I'm dying to ask this question of younger folks because again, it comes up for folks that have, been together, maybe they've been married for 10 or 20 years or something. Do you, as far as you know, do you have a model or a philosophy of how relationships work or how they're supposed to work? Most of us get that from our parents. And when you think about, it doesn't have to be your parents, but when you think about like, no, this is what a good relationship is, or this is what a bad relationship is, at 18, 17, 18, do you have theories about that yet?
That's a good question because both of our parents are divorced. So it's like, I guess I can't really speak for you. But when I look at my parents' relationship, I was always like, I don't know if I want to be like that.
Mm-hmm. You look at your parents before they were divorced.
Right.
And you're like, I'm not sure that's what I want.
Right.
Do you know how to describe that thing?
Like what their relationship was like and why
what the thing is that you didn't want. I mean, just versus the thing that you do want. I mean,
well, I can say, so I looked at my parents and was always like, maybe that's not the best example. But my grandparents, I love watching their dynamic because they are two wholly different people and they have different interests and they do separate things and they come back together at the end of the day. And like they don't have any problem doing things apart or independently of each other, but they're still a unit. And I liked that because I guess independence is something that's very important to me. So I like that we're able to do our separate things and then still act as a unit. And so I think that if I were to model my relationship, and no relationship is perfect.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I think you might not know that you're saying this, but I think healthy relationships have they have balance between independence and interdependence, meaning like I get to be me as a whole person. And then I choose to be connected to you as a relational person or as a person that's part of a system or a unit. And I think in general, being the whole person, being the independent person is the favor you do to the unit. Because if you're playing, I don't know why I use beach volleyball, but it's because it's a sport that two people play, but like,
right.
You're responsible to show up in the best shape and have studied the strategy and have rehabbed your injuries and have, not be there with a hangover. Like there's all this responsibility you have to show up as a healthy person so that you can be a healthy teammate. You know what I mean?
Yeah. To build off what she said, I think like I really believe in all of that. And I also just really like the idea that it's like you in a relationship have the confidence to figure out problems on your own, but like you always have someone there that's like either like you're just like talking about how you feel about this thing and they're like, well, here's a different perspective, or like when things seem too big or like things people said don't make sense to you, like to just like, I don't know, to like come back from our lives and kind of like share like, okay, like here's what I don't understand. or like hears, like that's really important to me to like have like, I don't know, just like
a shoulder to lean on.
Yeah. Or just a shoulder to like bounce things off, I guess. Like, I don't know. That's been really valuable and like in this relationship.
I wouldn't want either one of you to like speak negatively about your family or your parents, but I am curious to know, Grady, like, do you have examples of what you learned from your parents or from their divorce, or I don't know if they're remarried. I don't know if any, like, what do you have as far as you know, have you internalized any theory or philosophy about marriage or relationships based on what you the context that you grew up in?
Yeah, because the relationship with my mom and my dad is something they both speak about not very, pleasantly. Like almost to the point where like only in the more recent years of my life have they like ever reflected on any memory of each other in like a positive light or like. And so like growing up, a lot of the time it was like either like silence or like, I don't know, I come from a very like passive aggressive group of people, and like so like there's just a lot of like those types of like comments and all that. So I guess because so much of that relationship, what seemed to tear it apart and also what seemed to make the aftermath of it so unpleasant was like secrecy and like or like avoidance and like lying. Like I'm really like overly intense about just like being honest in situations where I maybe don't even need to be. Like I think that's been my reaction to that, has been like, okay, so I'll just like, I'd rather overshare.
You're course correcting to the other side, like radical transparency and honesty versus some passive aggressive. And
maybe you shouldn't like say everything, but I choose to do that, I guess, most of the time.
I think there's some wisdom to that. I think you don't need to. I think you don't need to say everything you think, and I also don't think you need to believe everything you think.
Sure.
So I think people who can't govern that boundary system, like if it comes into my head, it must be true, and if it's true, I got to say it.
Yeah.
Sure, you get in trouble if you do that. I
think either extreme is not good.
Yeah.
But I don't know, that's a tightrope, I guess. You got to find that.
Have you ever felt like you're doing your life next to your partner instead of with them? I feel like that sometimes, and I hear from clients a lot. As you know, Rebecca and I downloaded the Paired app, and it's been a surprisingly fun way to check in without feeling like we're working on the relationship. I do think relationships take work, but it should be more like trying to win the amazing race than, chopping rocks in Siberia labor farm or something like that. One of the questions that we just got was, what makes you feel lucky in your relationship? Rebecca's answer caught me off guard. In the best way. I think I actually said, wait, really? And she said, yeah, really. And that one little moment shifted our whole day. Another prompt asked, would you rather never hold hands again or never spoon again? And it sparked this playful debate in the kitchen. And then later, well, let's just say we did both. Paired is an app for couples who want to connect more deeply, laugh more often, and discover new things about each other. You answer daily quizzes, questions, and games. And the twist is you don't see your partner's answer until you respond. So it's honest, pressure-free, and often kind of delightful. So whether you're just a few dates in or you've been together for a long time, find time to connect with your partner and nourish your relationship. Start strengthening your relationship in an easy, fun way. And it only takes about 5 minutes a day. Head to paired.com/MTR. Get a 7-day free trial and 25% off if you sign up for a subscription. Just head to paired.com/MTR to sign up today. Like I always say, 100% of my clients complain about their parents. Whether they not complain strictly, but everybody's parents let them down in some way. Sure. Even the perfect parents. It's like, they never let me breathe and they were always in my stuff and I never got a chance to fail. And I'm like, on the other side, like they never came to my soccer game and they didn't ever pay attention. And there was all this, and it's just, it is about finding the balance. I think one thing that I'm interested in both with my girls, mine are 18 and 22, and people ask me a lot, like, do I like the guys they're dating? And I've come to an answer that I want to ask you guys about. My answer is, it doesn't matter if I like them. I don't I don't actually need to have an opinion about these guys. What I've come to is, do I like them? Like, do I like Mary when she's with this guy? Do I like Abby when she's with this guy? And sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't. Do you guys have a sense of that yet? Like, do your parents have opinions about your relationship? Do they like it? Do they like you with each other?
My mom does a really good job of giving us, my siblings and I, enough space to kind of find our own people. And so she tries not to insert her opinions, I feel like.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate, but I kind of get a sense of whether or not she likes the person I'm dating by how much the effort she makes to invite them to dinner and invite them to whatever.
Yeah.
I can't speak for her. I don't really want to speak for her, but
Yeah.
I think she likes Grady because she's always inviting him over.
Well, she invited him to be on the podcast with,
yes.
That's the thing. Yeah.
That's a good sign.
Yeah. The first time, because my dad has in the last year moved 7 hours away, but it was important to me because we kind of started dating right as he was leaving.
Mm.
When I introduced the two of them, my mom said that he instantly sent her a text and was like, she's cool. This is my favorite one.
Your father sent a text to your mother and said, Sarah Rhoades is cool.
Yeah.
I approve. Yeah. Good.
Which that was cool because my mom told me about that and I was like, that hypothetically could not have been meant for me to be seen or known. Yeah. So I think if he would text her and be like, I don't know about this Sarah Rhoades girl. Yeah. So yeah. And my mom kind of speaks very often about how much she likes the kind of side of me that she brings out. And
that Sarah Rhoades brings out.
Yeah. And she talks early on was just always you two are just the cutest. I like the way y'all are. We just got back from a week-long road trip in Michigan and we went to New York earlier this summer. And even during the school year, we would just after school, just try to drive out to the countryside. And I don't know why that's our thing is just driving,
we go places,
looking at things. And, so my mom has just spoken a lot about how she loves that Sarah Rhoades that we're smart enough to do those things and still be alive and 8-year-olds just out here.
Yeah.
And also just that she likes that we kind of bring that sense of whatever adventure out of each other and or just I don't know, curiosity and stuff is cool.
Yeah. What are you nervous about? What are you afraid of? When you think about being in a relationship in 2025 and trying to make your way in the world and become an adult?
I think the biggest obstacle in front of us right now is that I'm going to college in less than a week.
Yeah. How far away will you be?
It's an hour and a half, so it's not bad at all. But it's the farthest away we've ever been.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of been, I guess, looming. But now that it's approaching, an interesting thing has happened where I think we've both gotten less nervous about it as it's gotten closer.
I'd say so.
Because it's kind of in our age, whenever there's people that are in a relationship and most of the time they're both going to college and they're going to whatever, different states and everyone's oh man, I don't know, we're going to handle long distance. First of all, I drive a Prius. So an hour and a half, if she's I miss you, I'll be okay, I'll be there in, an hour and 20 minutes. But that's also been a thing that in the place of we're both not really I would say I'm a little nervous about it just because I'm nervous about, just change. I'm not but I'm not nervous about it to the point where we just have very transparent conversations about okay, when is too soon to visit and how often is that? That's going to be, I guess, the biggest, that's just going to be a new thing to navigate.
Yeah.
Because I'm there all the time because, she should be living it up and, going to college.
Yeah.
But I also don't want to be absent or, so yeah, that's the balance. I guess that is TB. thief on how to find
Well,
that.
yeah, I can't even hardly imagine it. When my sophomore year of college, I dated a girl who was in college 2 hours away. It was her freshman year in college. And this was 1990. This was in the 1900s.
Yeah.
And there was we were just getting email. And you had to go to the library and sit down at a computer. Like when somebody else stood up and walked away from the computer, you had to like wait until and then you could send an email, and then you went about your day, and then maybe you went back and you got a chance to see if the email had been returned, but you guys are like, can text each other and you have FaceTime and the world's it's a lot flatter than it was before. So this idea of long distance, the distance is shorter than it was 30 years ago, but so you got that going for you. I guess I'm trying to ask a different question too, and you might just not know. But are there reasons to be anxious or nervous about being in a committed relationship as an adult in 2025? Like, is it harder than it was for your parents, or for you? Do you even know yet? I mean, I think about this for my kids, and just like the rules are so different. Even just what I just described, like about how the world is flatter and you have access to so much more information and options, So I don't know if you, I guess I'm also trying not to just tell you what I think is harder, because I don't know if I'm right.
I feel like now, like the culture surrounding like breakup and hookup culture is so different. Because I was talking to my grandparents the other day, and they were telling me about when they met, and they met at like whatever, when they were still teenagers, and then they went to high school together, I think, and then they went to college, and that was it. Like they had met each other and they just got like dated and then got married. And I feel like that's not nowadays, because people have normalized casual relationships and hookups. But that being said, I feel like I started dating Grady, and automatically it was like, I don't really want to hook up with anybody, and I don't want to casually date anybody. I just want to date Grady. I feel like once you a person that you're willing to like commit to, it's not very difficult.
Yeah. Like obviously with phones and with communication and even with social media and like online dating and things, like creating those spaces, like I think like the context around the creation of like relationships and love is very ever changing, but like I believe that like the dialogue and the actual like relationship is maybe any different than it was in like, like Paul Revere and his wife or whatever. Like, I don't know, but like maybe that's like,
I love it.
Yeah. Like, and the issues that people face, and that seems pretty timeless to me.
Yeah.
Like my mom is always like you are growing up and like, this is an evil time in the world. Yeah. And yes, I believe that is true. And I believe that the circumstances of the evil to this, or like the unrest and all that, is unique and new and scary. And I also think that like people have been finding ways to love each other in the context of just like insane madness forever. So like,
yeah,
it doesn't seem like less possible now, or like more or less.
I think what I suspect, and again, this is maybe I'm ahead of myself here, but I think we live in an age right now where the news cycle is so fast, and there's so much competition for your attention, and there's so much there's so many invitations to take shortcuts. I don't think you can do that in relationships. I think you have to pay attention. I think you can't take shortcuts. I think you have to lengthen the news cycle. And I don't mean the news. I mean, like, you have to learn how to be present and stay present. And even like the idea that there's, because there's dating apps, and because there's this shift in this culture. Like there's so many options all the time. You're like, oh, if this relationship isn't working, I got options. Literally in my pocket, I can pull out my phone and see what options are available to me within a 15-mile radius. And I think the thing that I love what you just said. I think it's actually true. People have been making relationships work in the midst of crazy circumstances. You joke about Paul Revere, but I think about, even the relationship I was describing of my own in college with the email. I read John Adams's biography, and he was married to Abigail, and they have this epic love story set in colonial America, and their whole love story is letters written by hand on paper that had to go on a boat across an ocean to maybe find, and they had this epic love affair over several years of delayed gratification, just waiting for the letter, affirming the letter, believing the letter. And so, for me, for you guys, it's about trying to figure out how to latch on to something like permanence, something like this deep-rooted thing that you're describing, whether it's a tree trunk or the roots themselves. I'm not sure what you guys are up to when you're on your road trip, but if it involves sitting still and looking at things and just having prolonged conversation in the same space that's undistracted, that's a practice, and you got to practice.
Yeah.
Particularly when there's so much competition for your attention right now. So,
most things are at odds with just like sitting in a place and having a conversation about anything.
Yeah. I think the other thing too, again, that you just might not know, and I don't know if I'm talking to you guys or the whole world right now, there's 7 billion people listening to this podcast right now, but you're learning right now, 16, 17, 18 years old, how to be. And what you're learning right now is really good for right now, and also is going to run out of its usefulness in your 20s and 30s and 40s and 50s. Like, the other thing I would say is people need to continue to learn how to be in relationship. We inherit these things from our parents. We look at them and go, I don't want that, so I'm going to course correct way over here. Or they go, I do want that, so I'm going to try and model that for a while. And it works for a while because you find a person and it's clicking and it feels good. But then like each of you will change. Sarah Rhoades, you're going to go and like the whole world's going to change. Your entire context is going to change. We don't know what that's going to do. So it's all that much more important to be vigilant about who you are in the midst of that change versus like kind of letting it happen to you. And again, I'm not trying to be like wise old therapist guy coming down from the sky to give you advice. I'm just thinking about what I hear in my office from couples that have been together is that they didn't change with intention. Like change just sort of happened to them. Oh, well, then we moved to Seattle. Oh, then we had kids. And then one of our kids, got sick. And then, then we lost our job. But they don't seize the opportunity to learn and grow from that thing. It just sort of happens to them. And then they wake up one day and go, how did we get here? So It sounds like both of you have a measure of intentionality that is, I don't want to call it wise beyond your years, but at least it signals some thoughtfulness about how to do this thing, which is cool and refreshing. And I just hope that the relationships that you guys have, that my kids have, end up being, I think this is the American dream, end up being better than the ones that your parents had and better than the ones that their parents had, even my kids. Like, I hope that their relationships are better than mine with Rebecca, because then maybe we did something right, or maybe they did something right. So I don't know. That's what I think from the expert's chair. I'm really grateful that you gave me a little bit of time to chat about what it was like to be you. Do you have any questions for me?
I don't think so. But thanks for having us.
Yeah, you got it all figured out. I'm glad for you. Okay, Sarah Rhoades, Grady, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I wish you the very best. Sarah Rhoades is heading off to college. They're going to try the long distance thing for a little while. And again, I'm rooting for them. Maybe they will download the Paired app, which you can do at paired.com/MTR, to have just a way to stay in touch. It is a cool tool that Rebecca and I have used from time to time to help us stay connected. and you ought to check it out. If you do, make sure you go to the website paired.com/MTR. That way they'll know that you got it from us. And thank you again for joining our Patreon community. If you're not reading my blog called StuffIWrite.com, check that out. I am looking for more subscribers. I will have an update pretty soon, I think, about the book proposal that I have in progress. I'm excited to share that with you. And subscribing to that blog will be of value. And I think that's it. I'm headed into the dog days of summer. Mary is about to leave on her adventure. Abby's about to come home. I'm excited about that. Of course, I'll keep you posted. For now, I'll thank you for the time and attention you're putting into making your relationship better today than it was yesterday.